The first helicopter arrived during the storm. Ava Monroe was standing knee-deep in cold Atlantic water, holding a flashlight between her teeth, when the sky split open with thunder and the black shape dropped out of the clouds like something sent from a nightmare. At first, she thought it was the Coast Guard. Then she saw the second helicopter, then the third. Their lights cut across the rain, sweeping over the rocks, the lighthouse, the research dock, and the small white cottage where she had been living alone for 6 weeks. Ava Froze. The island was supposed to be empty except for the marine research team, a half-retired caretaker, and a few fishermen who came and went with the tide. No one landed helicopters here, not in the middle of a storm, not without warning. Her radio crackled against her hip. "Dr. Monroe?" The caretaker's voice came through, rough with fear. "Get back inside." Ava pulled the flashlight from her mouth. "Who is that?" There was a pause. Too long. Then he said, "The new owner." The first helicopter touched down on the cliffside helipad above the harbor. Rain exploded around it. The blades screamed in the wind. Ava watched as men in dark suits stepped out, moving with the terrifying precision of soldiers. And then he appeared. Tall, broad-shouldered, motionless in the rain. Black coat. No umbrella. No hurry. The storm seemed to bend around him. Even from the beach below, Ava could feel something shift in the air. The men around him did not look at him like employees. They looked at him like a king, or a weapon. He turned his head. Across the rain, across the rocks, across the violent silver water, his eyes found her. Ava's breath caught. He should not have been able to see her clearly from that distance. But he did, and somehow, she knew he had come for her. By morning, the island no longer belonged to peace. Black SUVs lined the gravel road near the harbor. Security teams swept the lighthouse, the lab, the cottages, even the old chapel on the eastern hill. Men in dark coats spoke into earpieces. The research boats were moved. The supply dock was locked. Ava stood outside the marine lab, soaked coat wrapped around her body, watching strangers take over the only place that had felt safe to her in months. She had come to Blackhaven Island to disappear. Not dramatically, not illegally, just quietly. After her fiancé, Nathan, had ended their engagement in the cruelest way possible by announcing at a university fundraiser that he had accepted a research post in California with the woman he had been seeing behind Ava's back. She had needed distance. From everything. From Boston. From colleagues who whispered. From friends who said she was strong while looking at her like she was broken. Blackhaven had been perfect. A remote marine reserve off the coast of Maine. Cold water, gray skies, seals on the rocks. No cell service except near the lighthouse. No one asking if she was okay. For 6 weeks, Ava had studied whale migration patterns, cataloged coral samples, repaired old sensors, and slowly remembered how to breathe. Then Dante Moretti bought the island. She learned his name from the way everyone refused to say it at first. The caretaker, Elias, avoided her eyes. The research director sent a short email. Due to private acquisition, all staff contracts are under review. The island's only grocery supplier turned his boat around before docking. By noon, Ava searched the name on the lab computer. Dante Moretti. The articles were vague and careful. Billionaire shipping magnate, international investor, owner of luxury hotels, private ports, offshore banks, and security firms. Suspected organized crime ties. Never charged. Feared across 3 continents. Ava stared at his photograph. Cold dark eyes. Sharp jaw. Expression unreadable. The kind of man who did not need to raise his voice to ruin a life. Behind her, the lab door opened. She turned. He stood there in a black suit, rain still glistening on his shoulders. The room seemed to shrink. Ava forced herself not to step back. "Dr. Monroe," he said. His voice was calm, deep, controlled. "You know my name," she said. "I know many things." "That's not comforting." His eyes moved over her face slowly. Not with hunger, but recognition, as if he had seen her before, as if some part of her had already belonged to a memory he hated. "I'm Dante Moretti." "I know." "Then you know this island is now mine." Ava lifted her chin. "The ocean around it isn't." For the first time, something almost like amusement touched his mouth. It vanished before it became human. "No," he said. "It isn't. Are we being removed? The others may leave." Ava went still. "The others?" His gaze did not move from hers. "You stay." The silence struck harder than thunder. Ava let out a cold laugh. Excuse me? You have work here. My contract can be transferred. No. One thing you should know about scientists, Mr. Moretti. We don't respond well to being told no by men who buy islands. His men stiffened behind him. Dante did not. He only stepped closer, not enough to touch her, enough to make her aware of every inch of space between them. You are not safe anywhere else, he said. Ava's pulse changed. Safe from what? His expression closed. Not yet. Anger rose fast, hot, and welcome. You don't get to walk into my lab, take over my island, and decide what I'm allowed to know. His eyes lowered briefly to her clenched hands, then back to her face. You are afraid, he said. I'm furious. You can be both. She hated that he was right. That evening, Ava returned to her cottage and found the locks replaced. For one wild second, she thought she had been evicted. Then the door opened with her old key. Inside, everything was different. A new security system glowed beside the entrance. The broken window latch had been repaired. The rusted heater hummed warmly. The leaky ceiling had been fixed. Her cracked mug had been replaced with an identical one. On the kitchen table sat a satellite phone. Beside it, a handwritten note. Use this if you need anything. No signature. Ava stared at it, then stormed outside. Dante was standing at the edge of the cliff behind her cottage, looking out at the black ocean. Of course he was. Did you go inside my home? She demanded. He turned slowly. I had it secured. That's a yes. The back window did not lock. So you broke into my cottage? I prevented someone else from doing it. Ava laughed in disbelief. You're insane. Not usually. You can't control my life because you bought some rocks in the ocean. His eyes sharpened. I did not buy rocks. No? Then what did you buy? For a moment, the wind was the only sound between them. Then Dante said, time. Ava stared at him. That answer should have frightened her. It did. But beneath the fear was something worse. Curiosity. The next 3 days unfolded like a beautiful prison. The rest of the research team left on a private ferry. Ava tried to go with them. 2 men in black suits blocked the dock. Mr. Moretti requests that you remain on the island. Ava pushed past them. One caught her arm. Before she could speak, Dante's voice cut through the rain. Remove your hand. The man released her instantly. Ava turned. Dante stood near the SUV, his face calm, but the air around him had changed. Every man on the dock seemed to stop breathing. She is not cargo, Dante said softly. The guard lowered his head. Sir. Ava pulled her arm close to her body. Dante looked at her. You may hate me, he said, but no one touches you without permission. The possessiveness in his voice sent a chill through her. Not romantic. Not yet. Dangerous. You don't get to say that either, she whispered. His jaw tightened. No, he said. I don't. But he still did not let her leave. That night, Ava searched every public record she could find. Blackhaven Island had passed between shell companies for decades. Its ownership history was a maze of offshore trusts and maritime firms. Then she found an old name buried in a scanned document from 1989. Isabella Moretti, Dante's mother. Ava leaned closer to the screen. Isabella had owned part of the island through a trust. She had died the same year, murdered, according to one obscure article, in a car bombing in Naples. Ava's stomach tightened. The lab lights flickered. Outside, something moved near the windows. She stood slowly. The power cut out. Darkness swallowed the room. Ava reached for the satellite phone in her coat pocket. A hand covered her mouth from behind. She slammed her elbow back, heard a grunt, and twisted hard. The man shoved her against the lab table. Glass shattered. Ava grabbed a metal sample hook and swung. The man cursed. Then the door burst open. Dante entered like violence given human form. Fast, silent, terrifying. There was a flash of movement, a brutal impact, and the attacker hit the floor. Ava backed against the wall, shaking. Dante stood over the man, breathing controlled, his white shirt darkened by rain. His eyes lifted to her. For the first time, she saw fear in them. Not fear for himself. For her. You're bleeding, he said. Ava touched her forehead. Her fingers came away red. It's nothing. His face changed. The attacker groaned. Dante looked down. Whatever humanity had appeared in him vanished. Who sent you? He asked. The man spit blood and smiled. Asked the girl what her father hid. Ava Froze. My father? Dante's eyes snapped back to her. The man laughed once. Then Dante's men dragged him out into the storm. Ava followed, heart pounding. What did he mean? What did my father hide? Dante said nothing. Answer me. He turned at the doorway, Rain behind him. You need to come with me. No. Ava. It was the first time he used her first name. It sounded wrong in his mouth. Too intimate. Too familiar. I said no. A gunshot cracked somewhere outside. The window behind her exploded. Dante moved before she could scream. He slammed her to the floor, covering her body with his. Glass rained down around them. His hand cradled the back of her head. His body was heavy, warm, unyielding. Ava could feel his heartbeat against her ribs. Steady. Controlled. Breathe, he said near her ear. I am breathing. No. You're surviving. There's a difference. Another shot hit the wall. Dante lifted his head, eyes colder than winter. Then he looked down at her. For half a second, neither of them moved. His face was inches from hers. Rain, blood, gun smoke, silence. Then he stood, pulling her up with him. This time, when he said, "Come with me," Ava did. The safe house was not a house. It was a mansion carved into the cliffs on the north side of the island, hidden behind pine trees and security gates. Candlelight glowed through tall windows. The Atlantic roared beneath it. Inside, everything was dark wood, marble floors, quiet luxury, and men with weapons pretending not to stare. Dante led Ava upstairs to a room overlooking the sea. You'll sleep here. I'm not sleeping. You will eventually. She turned on him. You knew someone was coming for me. Yes. You knew my father was involved. His silence was answer enough. Ava felt something twist in her chest. My father was a marine engineer. He died when I was 12. I know. Stop saying that. Dante looked at her carefully. Your father worked on more than research vessels. No. He built encryption systems for offshore shipping networks. No. He helped hide money for people who believed loyalty could be purchased. Ava shook her head. You're lying. I wish I were. The words landed strangely. Not cruel. Almost tired. Ava stepped back. My father was a good man. Dante's eyes softened for one heartbeat. Good men make desperate choices when their families are threatened. Ava hated the way her eyes burned. What does that have to do with me? Dante reached into his coat and removed a small waterproof case. Inside was a photograph. Old. Faded. Her father stood on a dock beside a beautiful dark-haired woman. Ava Moretti. Dante's mother. Ava looked from the photo to Dante. I don't understand. My mother created a financial escape route before she was murdered. Hundreds of millions hidden across offshore accounts. She planned to use it to leave my father and take me with her. His voice remained controlled, but something underneath it cracked. Your father helped her. Ava swallowed. And? And the final access key was never found. Ava looked at the storm outside. The answer came before he said it. No. Dante's casa held hers. We believe he left it with you. I don't have anything. You may not know that you do. She laughed bitterly. So you bought the island to search my things? No. Then why? Dante looked at her like the truth was something he had locked inside himself and resented her for finding the key. Because Sokolov found your name first. The room went cold. Who is Sokolov? A man who kills entire bloodlines to open locked doors. Ava remembered the attacker's hand over her mouth. Her knees weakened. Dante stepped forward, then stopped himself before touching her. That restraint unsettled her more than his power. I will not let him take you, he said. You don't know me. His eyes moved over her face, haunted. I know enough. Days passed inside the cliffside mansion, though time felt different there. Ava was given clothes she had not asked for, meals she barely touched, and access to a library large enough to make loneliness look elegant. Dante was everywhere and nowhere. She saw him through windows, speaking with men on encrypted phones. She saw him on the terrace at midnight, motionless in the wind. She saw him in the hallway outside her door once, at 3 a.m., standing guard himself while every other man slept. He did not become gentle. He did not apologize for keeping her there, but he never entered her room without knocking, never touched her without warning, never lied when she asked a direct question. That made him harder to hate. One evening, Ava found him in the old chapel on the hill. It had been abandoned for decades, its stone walls cracked by salt and weather. Candles burned at the altar. Rain tapped against broken stained glass. Dante stood before a statue of Mary, head bowed. Ava stopped in the doorway. I didn't think men like you prayed. I don't. Then what are you doing? Remembering. She moved closer. Your mother? His silence answered. Ava looked at the candles. Did you love her? Dante's jaw tightened. She was the only person who ever touched my face without fear. The confession was so quiet it almost disappeared beneath the rain. Ava felt her anger shift into something more dangerous. Understanding. I'm sorry, she said. He turned his head slightly. Do not pity me. I don't. Everyone does eventually. Or they fear me. Both are useless. Ava stepped beside him. I fear you. His eyes lowered. I know. But not only you. That made him look at her. Their eyes locked in the candlelight. For a moment, the air felt too thin. Dante lifted his hand. Stopped. Lowered it. Ava noticed. So did he. You should go back, he said. Why? Because I am trying to remember what kind of man does not take comfort from a woman he is keeping prisoner. Her breath caught. There it was. The monster with a conscience. The danger with a wound. You don't get points for knowing this is wrong, she whispered. No, he said. I don't. But neither of them moved. The first betrayal came from Nathan. Ava saw him on a security monitor 2 days later, stepping off a supply boat with a windbreaker, a medical bag, and the same handsome face that had once made her believe in safe futures. She stared at the screen. What is he doing here? Dante stood behind her, expression unreadable. You know him. My ex-fiancé. His eyes darkened. Ava noticed. A sharp, ridiculous spark of satisfaction moved through her. Then shame followed it. Nathan entered the mansion under guard, shouting her name. Ava, thank God, I came as soon as I heard. She ran down the stairs before Dante could stop her. Nathan looked relieved when he saw her. Too relieved, too polished. He reached for her. Dante's men shifted. Ava stepped back on instinct. Nathan noticed. Ava, what has he done to you? Her throat tightened. Why are you here? To bring you home. I don't have a home with you. Pain flashed across his face, but it was practiced. Ava knew him well enough now to see the performance. Dante descended the stairs slowly. Nathan went pale. Mr. Moretti, he said. Dante stopped beside Ava. Not touching. Claiming space anyway. You arrived without invitation, Dante said. I'm here for Ava. No, Dante replied calmly. You're here for what she can open. Ava looked at Nathan. His face changed. Just a flicker. Enough. Her heart dropped. Nathan? He exhaled. You don't understand. Dante gave a humorless smile. They always begin that way. Nathan's eyes turned desperate. Ava, your father left something behind. Something dangerous. I tried to protect you. You humiliated me in front of everyone. I had to get close to the people watching you. You slept with another woman to protect me? His silence cut deeper than a confession. Ava felt her face burn. Dante moved. Not toward Nathan. Toward her. A small shift, placing his body between her pain and the man who caused it. Nathan saw it and made the mistake of laughing. You think he cares about you? He's using you. Men like him don't love, they own. Dante's expression did not change, but every light in the room seemed colder. Ava looked at Dante, waiting for him to deny it. He did not. That hurt more than Nathan. She stepped away from both men. Get him out. Dante's gaze moved to her. Alive? He asked softly. Ava went still. Nathan's face drained of color. She should have been horrified. Part of her was. Another part remembered the lab, the broken glass, the hand over her mouth, Nathan's lies, years of manipulation wearing the mask of love. Alive, she said. Dante nodded once. As you wish. As you wish. Not because Nathan deserved mercy, because Ava asked for it. That night, she found Dante in the wine cellar beneath the mansion. He was alone, standing among bottles older than both of them. One bottle had been shattered against the wall, dark red wine dripping like blood over stone. You're angry, Ava said. Dante did not turn. I dislike betrayal. You betray people for a living. I destroy enemies. I do not pretend to love them first. Ava absorbed that. He was right about one thing, she said. You are using me. Dante turned then. Yes. The honesty struck her. And protecting me? Yes. Because of the money? At first. Her pulse jumped. And now? He looked at her for a long time. Too long. Now I am making mistakes. Ava's breath slowed. What kind of mistakes? The kind that make men weak. You don't seem weak. I stood outside your door for 4 hours last night because you cried in your sleep. Her chest tightened. I didn't know. You were not meant to. Why tell me? His eyes burned in the low light. Because you keep asking for truths you are not ready to hear. Ava should have walked away. Instead, she whispered, "Try me." Dante stepped closer, slowly, giving her every chance to retreat. She didn't. He stopped close enough that she could feel the warmth of him. "I thought if I found the key, I could bury my mother's ghost," he said. "Then I found you, angry, stubborn, bleeding in my arms and still giving orders." His gaze dropped briefly to her mouth. "When Sokolov's man touched you, I wanted to burn this island into the sea." Ava's heart pounded. "You barely know me." "I know. That isn't love." "No." His eyes returned to hers. "It is worse." The cellar door opened suddenly. A guard appeared. "Sir, we have a breach." The spell shattered. Dante turned cold instantly. "Where?" "Eastern tunnels." Ava frowned. "What tunnels?" Dante looked at her, and she knew. Another secret. The island had tunnels beneath it. Old smuggling routes from Prohibition. Dante's mother had used them. Ava's father had mapped them. Sokolov's men had found one entrance. The mansion went into lockdown. Lights dimmed. Steel shutters sealed the windows. Armed men moved through halls that had been silent minutes before. Dante took Ava's hand. This time, she did not pull away. They descended through a hidden door behind the library into tunnels carved through black rock. Water dripped from the ceiling. The air smelled of salt and rust. Ava's flashlight trembled. Dante noticed and tightened his grip. "I'm fine," she said. "I didn't ask." Controlling. Observant. They moved deeper. Behind them, gunfire echoed faintly through the mansion. Ava flinched. Dante stopped. For the first time, he touched her face. Just 2 fingers beneath her chin, lifting her gaze to his. "Look at me." She did. "In this tunnel there is only my voice. You follow it, you stay behind me. You do not become brave at the wrong time." Despite everything, Ava almost smiled. "I'm always brave at the wrong time." I noticed. Their eyes held. Then an explosion shook the tunnel. Dust rained down. Ava stumbled into him. He caught her against his chest. For one breath, the world narrowed to his hand at her back and the violent beat of his heart. Then a voice called from the darkness. "Dante Moretti." Dante pushed Ava behind him. A man stepped into the flashlight beam. Silver hair, elegant coat, smile like a blade. "Viktor Sokolov." "Such drama," Victor said. "All this for one woman." Dante's voice became deadly quiet. "Leave." Victor looked past him at Ava. "There she is, the little key." Ava's skin crawled. "I don't know what you want." "No," Victor said. "Your father made sure of that. Clever man, coward, but clever." Dante's hands shifted toward his weapon. Victor smiled with a, "I wouldn't. My men have the chapel wired. Your mother's little shrine, yes? Move wrong, and she dies twice." Dante went still. Ava saw the pain flash through him. Victor saw it too. "Ah," he said softly, still a boy at the grave. Ava stepped forward before Dante could stop her. "What do you want from me?" Victor's eyes gleamed. "There is a phrase, a memory, a sequence hidden where only your father believed you would find it. I don't know any sequence." "Then remember quickly." Dante's voice cut in. "She is not going with you." Victor looked amused. "No, I think she will, because unlike you, Dr. Monroe has a conscience." He lifted a phone. On the screen was Elias, the caretaker, bound inside the old lighthouse. "Abagaspid." Victor said, "Come with me, and the old man lives." Dante said no. Ava looked at him. "He'll kill Elias. If you go with him, he kills you. You don't know that. I know men like him. And I know what it feels like when someone else decides my life for me." Dante turned fully toward her. The tunnel shook with distant gunfire. For once, he looked less like a king and more like a man standing at the edge of losing something he did not know how to name. Ava, he said, voice low. "Let me choose." His jaw tightened. Every instinct in him fought her. She could see it. The obsession, the fear, the need to lock the world away from her. Then he lowered his weapon. Victor laughed softly. Ava walked toward the enemy. As she passed Dante, his hand caught hers. Not hard. Desperate. She looked back. His face was carved from restraint. "I will come for you," he said. Ava whispered, "I know." That was the moment she realized she trusted him. And it terrified her more than Victor. Sokolov took Ava to the lighthouse. Rain battered the glass. Waves exploded against the rocks below. Elias lay unconscious, but breathing near the wall. Ava was forced into a chair beneath the rotating light. Victor placed an old metal box on the table in front of her. Inside were pages from her father's journals. Her stomach twisted at the sight of his handwriting. Coordinates, marine charts, fragments of lullabies, and one photograph of Ava as a child, standing on this very island. She touched it with shaking fingers. "I've never been here before." Victor leaned close. "Oh, but you have." The memory came like lightning behind her eyes. A little girl running through fog, her father carrying her, a woman with dark hair kissing her forehead. Isabella Moretti. Ava pulled her hand back. "No." "Yes," Victor whispered. "Your father hid the access phrase in a memory. Not numbers, not paper. You." Ava closed her eyes. She remembered her father singing when storms frightened her. Not a lullaby. A phrase in Italian. She had never understood it. Isabella had taught it to him. Dante's mother had left the key inside a child's song. Victor saw recognition on her face. "There," he said. "You remember?" Ava forced herself to breathe. If she gave him the phrase, he would unlock the accounts. If she refused, Elias died. And Dante, she did not let herself finish that thought. Victor's phone rang. He answered. His expression changed. Below the lighthouse, engines roared. Ava turned toward the window. Black SUVs tore across the causeway in the rain. Helicopters dropped through the storm. Men moved over the rocks like shadows. And at the center of it all was Dante, walking through gunfire as if the world had no permission to touch him. Victor cursed. Ava whispered, "You should have left when he asked." The lighthouse door exploded inward. Chaos erupted. Ava dropped to the floor as glass shattered above her. Men shouted. Gunfire cracked through the storm. The rotating light swept over Dante as he entered, face cold, coat torn, blood at his temple. His eyes found Ava. Everything else disappeared. Victor grabbed her, pressing a gun to her side. Dante stopped. The room froze. Rain blew through the broken door. Victor smiled behind Ava's shoulder. "You are predictable." Dante's gaze never left Ava. "Are you hurt?" Ava shook her head, barely. Victor dug the gun harder into her ribs. "Tell me the phrase," he hissed. Ava looked at Dante. In his eyes, she saw the truth. He would trade everything for her. The money, the island, his empire, his revenge, everything. And that was why she could not let Victor win. She began to sing softly. The Italian phrase her father had sung. Dante's face changed. Pain, recognition, devastation. Victor smiled in triumph. Then Ava changed the final word. Dante's eyes sharpened. Victor did not notice. The lighthouse system beeped. The hidden account opened. But not to Victor, to Dante. Ava had remembered one more thing. Her father had always changed the last word when she was afraid. For safety, the false phrase opened a trap. Every offshore account Victor had traced began transferring evidence, not money, to international authorities, journalists, and Dante's own network. Namis, bribes, murders, accounts. Victor's entire empire began collapsing in real time. His smile died. "You stupid girl." He raised the gun. Dante moved. Ava heard the shot, felt heat, fell. For one terrible second, there was no sound. Then Dante was there, catching her before she hit the floor. His hands pressed against her side. Blood spread beneath his fingers. His face broke. Not dramatically, not loudly. Worse, silently, like something ancient inside him had cracked open. "No," he whispered. Ava tried to breathe. "I changed the word. I know. You look proud." His laugh came out broken, furious. "Same thing with you." His hand trembled against her face. For the first time since she had met him, Dante Moretti looked afraid. Completely, humanly, terribly afraid. "Stay with me," he said. "Bossu." "Yes. I'm tired." "No." She tried to smile. "You really hate that word." He bent his forehead to hers. Rain and blood and lighthouse beams moved around them. "Ava," he whispered. And this time her name sounded like a prayer from a man who did not believe in God. "Do not leave me alone with what I have become." Her eyes filled. There it was. The confession beneath all the control. Not love, wrapped in poetry. A wound. A plea. "I'm not leaving," she whispered. Then the world went black. Ava woke in a luxury hospital room overlooking the ocean. Not on the island. Boston. Snow fell beyond the glass. Machines beeped softly beside her. For a moment, she did not remember. Then she turned her head. Dante was sitting beside her bed, unshaven, still. One hand wrapped around hers like he had been holding it for days. His black suit was wrinkled. His eyes were shadowed. A man feared by governments looked like he had not slept since the moment she fell. "You look terrible," Ava whispered. His head lifted. For 3 seconds, he did not move. Then he stood so fast the chair scraped backward. "Ava." She tried to smile. "Still here." His face tightened. He brought her hand to his mouth but stopped before kissing it, as if even now he was asking permission without words. Ava turned her fingers into his. Only then did he press his lips to her knuckles. His eyes closed. The gesture undid her. "What happened?" she asked. "Sokolov is dead." She searched his face. "Did you?" "Yes." No apology. No pride. Just truth. Ava looked away. The world he lived in was not clean. Neither was the world that had hunted her. And the accounts? Gone. All of it? "I burned what remained." She looked back. Hundreds of millions? More. "Why?" Dante's eyes held hers. "Because for 1 second in that lighthouse, I thought I had traded your life for my mother's ghost." Her throat tightened. "I chose that." "I know. Then don't take it from me." His jaw flexed. Ava squeezed his hand weakly. "I'm not fragile." "No," he said. "You are inconveniently brave." She laughed, then winced. Dante's hand moved instantly, hovering near her shoulder, not touching until she nodded. Then gently, carefully, he adjusted her pillow. The tenderness looked almost painful on him. Like a language he was learning too late. Days passed. The world outside exploded. Sokolov's network collapsed. Politicians resigned. Offshore banks were raided. Nathan was arrested trying to flee through Montreal. The press called Ava, the woman who exposed a shadow empire. They called Dante nothing, because no one could prove he had been there. But Ava knew. She knew he visited her every night after the nurses left. Knew he sat in the dark beside her bed. Knew he spoke to her when he thought she slept. Once, she woke to his voice. "My mother would have liked you." Ava kept her eyes closed. Dante continued, softer. "She would have told me I did not deserve you." A pause. She would have been right. Ava opened her eyes. She also helped build a secret fortune inside a lullaby, so maybe she had complicated judgment. Dante looked startled. Then, impossibly, he smiled. A real smile. Small. Devastating. Gone too quickly. "You were awake. You're not as silent as you think." "I'm exactly as silent as I think." "You're emotionally loud." He looked offended. Ava smiled. Then her expression softened. "What happens when I leave here?" His face closed. "You'll be free." The word hurt more than it should have. "Free from you?" "If that is what you want?" Ava studied him. The most dangerous man she had ever met was offering her the one thing he feared giving. Choice. "You bought an island to keep me from danger," she said. "Yes." "You locked down my life." "Yes." "You scared everyone around me." "Also yes." "You stood outside my door because I cried." His eyes lowered. "Yes." "You burned a fortune because I almost died." His voice became rough. "Yes." Ava swallowed. "And now you're just going to let me walk away?" Dante looked at her then. The emotion in his eyes was controlled, but barely. "I would rather tear the city apart than watch you leave," he said. "But I will not become another cage." Ava's heart cracked open quietly. For so long, love had felt like performance. Like Nathan's public charm and private betrayal. Like being chosen only when convenient. Dante's love, if that was what this was, terrified her. But it did not pretend to be harmless. It stood in front of her with blood on its hands and truth in its mouth. Ava reached for him. He went still. She touched his face. The feared mafia boss closed his eyes like no one had touched him gently in years. Maybe no one had. "I don't want a cage," she whispered. His eyes opened. "I want a door." He looked at her, silent. "And I want to be the one who decides when to open it." Dante covered her hand with his. "Then I will build doors." Ava smiled through tears. "That sounds expensive." "I bought an island." "Yes," she whispered. "You did." 3 months later, Ava returned to Blackhaven. Not as a prisoner. Not as a target. As its director. Dante transferred the island into a marine conservation trust under her name, with enough funding to protect its waters for a century. The mansion became a research institute. The old chapel was restored. The lighthouse was repaired. The tunnels were sealed, except one. Ava kept it as a reminder. Secrets survived in darkness. But so did people. On the first night of spring, a storm rolled over the island. Ava stood on the cliffside helipad in a long coat, watching waves smash against the rocks below. Behind her, a helicopter landed. She did not turn immediately. She knew who it was. Dante stepped beside her, black coat moving in the wind. For a while, neither spoke. That was something she had learned about him. Silence was not empty. Not with Dante. It was where he put everything he did not yet know how to say. "Are you staying?" she asked. "If you want me to." Ava glanced at him. "That's new. I am practicing restraint." "How painful." "Excruciating." She smiled. He looked out at the ocean. "I have enemies still," I assumed. "My life will never be simple. I study deep-sea predators for a living." His mouth curved slightly. She turned toward him. "I won't belong to you, Dante." The wind moved between them. His eyes held hers. "No," he said, "but I belong to you." Ava's breath caught. He said it calmly, like a vow, like a surrender, like a man feared by the world had finally found the one place he could lay down his weapons without becoming weak. She stepped closer. This time, he did not stop himself from touching her. His hand rose to her cheek, careful at first, then certain when she leaned into him. Behind them, the helicopter blades slowed. Below them, the sea raged. And above them, the first break in the storm opened over Blackhaven Island. Ava looked at the man who had bought her prison and turned it into her kingdom. The man who had terrified her, protected her, challenged her, needed her. The man who had learned that love was not possession. It was devotion with an open door. "Dante," she whispered. His eyes lowered to her mouth. "Yes? You can kiss me now." For once, the mafia boss did not hesitate. He kissed her on the edge of the storm, with the ocean roaring beneath them and the island glowing behind them like a secret the world would never fully understand. And for the first time in his life, Dante Moretti did not feel like a man standing in the dark. He felt like someone had left a light on for him. Not to save him, not to soften him, but to call him home